Troubleshooting Eigrp for IPv4. In this video, I am going to talk about the troubleshooting of the Eigrp. You know that in this class, we have learned about many topics of the Eigrp, like neighborship, like for example, exchanging the routes, and some other features such as the summarization, such as the, for example, filtering, and some other things. Here, now we are talking about the troubleshooting. Troubleshooting means finding the reasons of the problem, and after the finding the reason of the problem, we can solve them with the different tools that we have. Because of that, we can start by reviewing some of the topics that we have learned before, and after that we can start troubleshooting learning with 3 steps. The first step that I will talk about that is the troubleshooting Eigrp for IPv4 neighbor adjacency. Actually, in the first step, we will learn about the troubleshooting or structured troubleshooting of the Eigrp when we have problem related to the neighborship or neighbor adjacency. In the second part, we will learn about the troubleshooting of the Eigrp for IPv4 routes. For example, why some routes are not available in the topology table or in the routing table. We will learn about them. And finally, we will learn about some of the miscellaneous Eigrp issues related to the different structures, different features of the Eigrp, step by step. Finally, in the next video, we will experience some trouble tickets for better understanding the process of the structured troubleshooting. The first thing that I'm going to show you is a simple scenario. Here we have a so simple scenario. We have router 1, router 2. Let me to configure Eigrp between them. Conf t interface serial 10. Here we have 2 interface only. And you know that we should assign IP address to the interface to 10121 is the IP address of the serial 10/24 or with the mask of 255.255.255.0, and then no shutdown. After that, let me to enable Eigrp on this interface, router Eigrp1, network 10.121 quad 0. That's it. And then in the router 2, conf t interface serial 10, IP address is 10.122.255.255.255.0, and then no shutdown. After that, router Eigrp1, network 10.122 quad 0. Now we will experience one Eigrp neighborship between the router 1 and router 2. Maybe you remember that what is happening now. Look at here. We assign the IP address of 10.122 to this interface. Then we have enabled the Eigrp, and now we have neighborship. What is happened? You have learned about the process. You know that after enabling Eigrp on this interface, one multicast address 224.0.0.10 will enable on this interface and also on this interface. Okay. After that, we will experience one hello message with the source IP of the unicast IP address of the interface, and destination 224.0.0.10 means the multicast address of the Eigrp. From the router 1 and also from the router 2, the source IP address of the hello from the router 2 is 10.122, and then the destination IP is the 224, okay, 0.0.10. These two hello message, okay, are exchanging between these two routers, and you know that inside of the hello we have some parameters, and after checking these parameters, after ensuring that these parameters are compatible, we will experience the Eigrp neighborship between two routers. Finally, we will have Eigrp neighborship between the router 1 and router 2. Okay, but in some cases, maybe you encounter with some problem after this configuration. You will see that we have problem related to the neighborship. I will talk about the reasons of the problems related to the neighbor adjacency, but first let me to show you that now we have neighborship here. Show IP Eigrp neighbors. Here we have some information that you have learned about them. Let me to review. The H column means the order of the adjacency. This is the first neighbor. Here you can see the 0. The next neighbor will have the H column of, for example, 1. Address is the IP address of the neighbor, and you have learned about it. After that, here you can see the local interface. This is not the interface of R2. This is the interface of the R1. Actually, this is the local interface. After that, here you can see the hold time. This is the amount of time that this router wait for the router 2 to send one EIGRP packet, such as the EIGRP hello. After that, we have uptime. Uptime means how long the two router, okay, have been neighbors, okay. And then here we have a smooth round trip time, and you know that this is the amount of time it takes for the neighbor to communicate on average, okay. After that, here you can see the retransmission timeout, and you have learned about the retransmission timeout. Means if the R1 sends one packet to the router 2, it should wait, for example, this amount of time to receive the reply, okay, and if to receive the acknowledgement, okay. If the acknowledgement wasn't received, we should send again. Queue count means the number of EIGRP packets in a queue waiting to be sent to a neighbor, and you know that this should always be 0, since you want up-to-date routing information. If the queue count has value other than, for example, 0 in steady state, this relate to a problem, okay. And then here we have the sequence number. The sequence number is a mechanism to keep track of the each EIGR packet. You know that in each EIGR packet we have a sequence number, and actually this is the function of the sequence number is keeping track of the EIGRP packet received from the neighbor to ensure that only newer packets are accepted and processed. For example, the router 2 is sending to the router 1 update with the sequence number 1, and router 1 can send the acknowledgement to the router 2. And if the router 2 again for any reason send to the router 1 the next update again with the sequence number 1, actually the router 2 repeating the previous update, the router 1 doesn't accept it, and because of that, with the sequence number we can understand that this new packet has the more recent information or not. This here you can see all of the information about the neighbor. Okay, now let me to talk about some of the reasons that maybe about the neighborship we experience problem. For example, you know that the first step in the troubleshooting is checking the EIGRP neighborship. For example, if you hear about the for example, one problem in the network, for example, you are hearing that some users in some part of your network doesn't have connectivity to other part of the network, the first thing that maybe you check is the neighborship between the routers. And as you can see that we have problem related to neighborship, you can see these parameters. You know that for the neighborship we should worry about these options step by step, one by one. I'm going to talk about them. The first possible reason of the neighborship problem is that the interface that we are establishing neighborship on that interface is down for any reason. Look at here. You know that in the R1 neighborship table, Eigrp neighborship table, we have the local interface. Local interface means the interface that we have a neighborship exactly on this interface. Don't forget, in Eigrp, if this interface change to the down state, this interface's states change to down state, immediately the Eigrp should tear down the neighborship, should for example forget the neighborship. It is so important. Let me to show you. Assume that here on the interface serial 10 I'm using the shutdown command. That's it. Okay, after the shutdown command, without any waiting, as you can see now we don't have neighborship on the router 1. Do show IP Eigrp neighbors. That's it. Because of that, it is so important to ensuring that the interface is not down, interface is up. Maybe you ask me or you say me that the interface always is up. and none of the administrators shut down the interface. Yes, it's okay. But don't forget, the interface, okay, is a physical object, and the physical object can be corrupted. For example, this is possible that the interface lifetime is expired, and you need to change the interface hardware. And also this is possible that the interface does not have any problem, but the link or connector that connected to the interface has problem. For any reason that the interface or the physical structure of the interface cannot work, the result will be the interface go to the down state, and after that the Eigrp should tear down the neighborship. Because of that, one of the things that you should ensure that it is working is the neighborship. Okay, because of that, if you experience one problem about the neighborship between the router 1 and router 2, the first thing that you should check is that the neighborship, that we have neighborship on that interface in both sides, not only in one side. In both sides are, for example, working correctly. For example, if you want, you can use show CDP neighbor. This is one of the commands that you can use. With show CDP neighbor, you can easily find the local interface that you have you have used it, you are use it for the for example connectivity to the router 2 serial 10, and also the other side interface. Here you can see the local interface means R1 connected over the serial 10 to the R2 with the serial 10 of the R2. Actually, you can easily find these two interface, and then after finding these two interface, you can check the status of each interface. For example, you can use show interfaces or show IP interface brief. Look at here, show IP interface brief. As you